Hello viewer, today we're going to go through some more updates to the video game that I've been making. I think first off we'll look into the some of the gun mechanics that I've done, and I touched on some of this last video. So as you can see, there's a nice easing. Ignore the models. The models to be updated. I think I got a model pack from the Unreal Fab store, and it's fantastic, but it's a little bit too realistic for what I wanted. Like the style is a little bit too realistic. So I modeled this one, and I'm sort of liking the more square, rugged look, like with the scratching and stuff. It definitely needs work. The materials definitely need work, but I think going for a more stylized look, maybe a more angular, masculine style will be beneficial to the overall design language of the game. So what else? As you can see, all of this is procedural. So the iron sights are done, and obviously there's less movement when you're looking around, when you're aiming down sights. And it's the same for these sort of things. So I got a bunch of different guns that do different stuff. But as you can see, when I'm moving, it's a little bit more relaxed when I'm moving around. But when I'm aimed in, it's tighter. There's not as much velocity on the spring interpolation. The decals for the shots are done. And I also have done the muzzle flash and a bit of procedural recoil. I'm still kind of iffy on this. I think I need to do a little bit more work on it. I feel like some of the guns aren't as heavy as I feel they should be, especially this one. I don't know if it needs more than that. But as you can see, it's all procedural. It doesn't matter where you are. It's just adding that. It's just adding that recoil to whatever rotation you're aiming at. So same with this. So as you're firing, you can see it's all procedural, and same with the ADS. I did some tweaking to make sure there wasn't any back tilting. So there wasn't any back tilt on the gun when you're aiming down sights, because as you can see here in the hip fire, you can see the barrel is lifting up slightly, and there's also more of a spread pattern. But when you're aiming down sights, there's no backwards tilt on the gun, and it's tighter grouping. So obviously this is just like an initial setup for the aiming down sight system and the first person weapon system. But as you can see, I'm just pressing Q just to switch back and forth. For now, it's just to get the systems up and running. The second thing was the muzzle flash. So as you can see, I don't know how well it's going to show up in the video, but I got these collisions working quite well. So you can see there's a smoke. I made my own smoke sprite, like an additive material decal, like a deferred decal. And you can see that it's actually interacting with the environment. So the smoke is wrapping around and being deflected around what you're shooting at. And same with the sparks. You can probably see the sparks are flying off. But if you look here, I'm not sure how well it's going to show up in the video, but you can see the smoke is being is actually physically reacting with the environment. Same with this. So as you can see, it might look better at night if I turn it to nighttime, but yeah. I thought that was a cool little touch to make it feel a little bit more interactive. So an update on the gore system, the procedural gore system that I've been working on. I have done a bit of decal work. So as you can see, when you shoot, blood just goes absolutely everywhere. Like I think it's a little bit too much. But in the same in the same breath, I also want to have that like really outrageous feel to the game. As you can see, it's nice and reflective, and then as it ages, the roughness goes up in value. So like as blood dries, it gets darker, and obviously it doesn't become as reflective because it dries. So what I've done is over time, let me show you. So over time, you can see that the reflectivity, it dries up. Yeah, it dries up and then it goes away. Same with here, you probably see here in the reflection. Oh, he's chasing me. So I just think I think that's a pretty good look. I overhauled all the Niagara effects coming out of the being emitted from the system that the systems that I place, and like putting collision on all of the blood particles, all of the chunks, all that stuff. So you can see here, it's actually, if I back up a bit, you can see it sort of makes a pooling effect when it lands using those ribbons. And the ribbons I've just converted into tubes. Let me show you. Also with the blood, so there's two different effects. There's the splash, obviously the splat, and then there's the drip effect. So you can see here, it's actually pooling up. I think that's a cool little effect. And of course, over time it hardens, it dries and hardens, and then the roughness increases, becomes less reflective, and then it goes away for the culling, because you don't want 100,000 different decals all around the map. You got to do some sort of culling on these things. As much as I would just like to keep the blood how it is and just leave it in the map, it can take quite a lot of computing power to generate hundreds, thousands and thousands of different decals all over the map all at once. So even with culling, like even that is quite a lot of decals just from one shot. And as you can see, yeah, it is very, very satisfying, especially how he reacts to the shot, and then the blood just goes everywhere. Just for the time being, I'm going to change this to nighttime, so you can see how it's going to look at night. So you can see like the reflection, and then as it dries, yeah, goes away, gets darker, and then goes off. So also the smoke from the muzzle flash wraps around the model. I don't know if you can see that, but as you can see, it's you can see the smoke sort of deflecting away from the model. As you can see, the blood looks quite nice when if you have different shots in different intervals, when there's different bits of darkness, like that, and the splashing and all that. I think it's very visceral. So I'm gonna make him chase me, and you can see when he's chasing me, if I can make, oops. When he's chasing me, the blood is just getting sprayed everywhere. Probably best to do this in daytime, to be honest. Let me just make this, yeah, okay. So make him chase me. Yeah, so it's just, and then if I can get a bleed on him, and he's running, you can see he's like spraying that blood everywhere. And it's creating decals dynamically where the particles are landing. So it gives you a really nice physical like feel to the game. Here's a good example. You can see where the particles are landing. So I have encountered a couple issues with the decal system. One is that there's no way for me to attach a decal to a parent using the Niagara FX system. So when that particle comes off, when that blood particle comes off the splat and then hits anything in the ray traced world, it creates a decal, right? But let's say it's my gun. if the decal lands on my gun and then I move in that world space, the decal won't follow because it's not attached. So I'm moving, I'm moving throughout, moving within a world where all these decals are just randomly placed in the world, and then the gun is just randomly picking them up. So I need to, I'm not sure if it's possible, but I need to find a way to get the decals to attach to a parent. It's very frustrating. There's like nothing in the documentation about this, about attaching the Niagara effects to the Niagara effect decals to the parent. But as you can see, it is here. So these are all decals, but because they are, because I'm manually attaching them, the decals are sticking to the parent they're being attached to, which is really, really frustrating because I would love the gun, and I would love the actual character of the monster to be covered in that same blood that's being emitted. But right now it kind of does, but it doesn't stick. It's really annoying. What else have I been working on? Yeah, mainly just the procedural aiming. Next up, I will be putting a model, so I'm going to get some hands to obviously hold the gun with, and then to do the reload animations and all that stuff. I have a pretty good idea of how I'm going to do it. I just need to, get the character and rig it up with the bones and make sure all that is working. But yeah, nice and visceral, really good feeling. Really lots of blood. And as you can see, it's still spilling out like that. So yeah, thank you for watching.